What brought me to work with youth rights and justice is the calling, really being able to give back to the community that raised me was a big step in that direction, doing something that was bigger than myself. The SchoolWorks Pass program is intended to serve parents of BIPOC students from pre-K to 5th grade. The PASS program stands for Parent Advocacy for Student Success. We really wanted to focus on those two prongs, that prong of the legal representation where I come in and represent parents, and that prong of advocacy, not only meaning that I am advocating for the parents, but then fostering that education so parents can advocate for themselves and parents can advocate for their students.
So at FACT Oregon, we support families and individuals with disabilities to navigate disability systems. So we focus on special education, but we also help around community resources and community disability services and making sure that people have access and connection to those resources. I first learned about SchoolWorks Pass through my director, who had made a connection with Jawan in the Pass program, and they talked about how the Pass program was going to support families, specifically towards families of color, Black and brown individuals that have disproportionate access already. That was really exciting for me because I am the parent. I am a parent of color. I'm a parent of 2 Black boys in the system who receive special education services. So that was really exciting to hear that this was available and to hear that it was available at a younger age.
Examples for behaviors of kids that are displaying age-appropriate behaviors would be 5-year-olds fidgeting in their chairs or wanting to get up or being distracted, wanting to not necessarily just sit and listen as we would expect adults to do, because they're still in those learning stages. School is not only learning about education, numbers, 1, 2, 3s, ABCs, but also learning about how to be social. Sometimes it would go along racial lines as well, where those white students would be the students that are the energetic ones, the ones that are a little antsy, the ones that are having these more positive connotations with their behaviors, whereas a Black or a Latinx student who are displaying the exact same behaviors would not have those positive connotations, would be more so distracting, inappropriate, a problem. And instead of correcting the behaviors, giving positive reinforcement, they are placed in that other category, and they are seen by not only their peers, but also their superiors as problem children. Those bad behaviors and that negative connotation kind of internalizes and becomes bigger problems down the road, to where this student who was seen as a problem child in school is now seen as a problem adult, and it turns into a situation where that student becomes a youth. They become justice impacted, and once a youth is justice impacted, it is really hard for that youth to get back on that right track.
Some of the problems in the school system that I see is institutionalized racism, institutionalized ableism, and ultimately just the expectation that kind of a one-size-fits-all for kids, and expecting that we're not educating the whole child. We're just educating and expecting these one little thing from them.
Whether it's a suspension meeting or a conversation about moving a student from a general classroom into a more restrictive setting, parents aren't really understanding what's going on or what their rights are, what a school can and cannot do in those situations. And a lot of times, whether they are wanting to or not, schools can come across as, we know your kid better than you know your kid. Having a lawyer at the table with parents can be paramount.
Recognizing that there's that intersection with race and disability, and how the more identities that you identify with marginalized groups, the more challenges you might have. And so just knowing that something like this exists, that families can have that access so much earlier, I think it's just going to make the whole community better.
being able to help clients fulfill that need of belonging and to still have those kids want to go to school and still feel like school is fun is something that is near and dear to my heart.